Welcome back. Zandile Mafe has been positively identified in video footage from the night he is alleged to have set fire to Parliament. At least that's according to prosecutors. The arson suspect was back in the Cape Town Magistrates Court today, but the state says it needs more time to gather forensic evidence. Lindsay Dentlinger is following the story for us. She joins us now live. So, Lindsay, what reasons did the state actually give for not having this case go ahead right now?
Well, they've read an affidavit by one of the Hawks investigators to court saying that they only got access to the torched buildings last week, Tuesday. And for that reason, they haven't had enough time to do the investigations they need to do on that scene. And because of all the rubble and the debris, the movements through those buildings is quite slow. And so they are estimating that they will need at least 6 weeks, Shahan, to be able to not only pick through that scene, but to conduct the analysis from whatever it is that they pick up from that scene. And then the Department of Public Works needs around 3 weeks to conduct their structural engineering assessment. There's about 50 tons of water in the basement and the lower floors of the National Assembly building that needs to be pumped out. So that is also slowing down that particular assessment. And then, Shahan, there are also assessments that have been conducted on Zandile Mafe's facial recognition, which you've pointed out, and which they told the court today he has, in fact, by their analysis, been identified as the man in the footage. But they will still need those assessments to be done before they can proceed. And more importantly, they need to ascertain the exact monetary value of the damage, because as we know, Zandile Mafe is facing both terrorism and arson charges, and for those charges to stick, Shahan, they need to know the exact amount of the damage that has been caused. And so all of that is going to take some time, and the court thus agreeing that Mafe remain behind bars and that the state still be given at least another 6 weeks until mid-May before they have to return to court and bring that evidence that they say is still outstanding.
So what do we expect to happen next?
So as I say, Zandile Mafe stays behind bars at least until the 12th of May, but his lawyer indicating to us after today's proceedings that the application to appeal the refusal of bail that you will recall 6 weeks ago, that is going to continue. It could continue as soon as next week in the High Court. The lawyer for Zandile Mafe telling us that a full bench of the Western Cape High Court will sit to hear that appeal. And as I say, they wait for that date to be as soon as next week. And then, of course, Lubuyo Godla, the lawyer for Zandile Mafe, saying he's waiting for particularly this report, which purports to show that Zandile Mafe is indeed the man in the CCTV footage taken from Parliament. They have not received any of this. And the state is promising, Shahan, to have a full indictment by the next time the matter goes ahead in the Cape Town Magistrates Court, for this matter then to be referred to the High Court, given the nature and the seriousness of the offences. But here's some of what transpired in what was fairly brief proceedings before Magistrate Ronel Oliver in the Cape Town Magistrates Court today.
It's been almost 3 months since Parliament's key buildings went up in flames, but the state says forensic investigations will take at least another 6 weeks. The buildings were only declared safe for access by forensic and arson investigators 10 days ago.
There's still challenges at the scene in terms of health and safety. However, they've listed themselves, they have been concluding the investigation. Once they've completed the collection of the samples, it's then the analysis process that is the period is what will take long.
The state says a damage estimation can only be made once tons of water have been pumped from the building. This is critical for the arson and terrorism charges to stick.
A facial comparison expert's report has been obtained. positive facial comparison expert's report linking the accused's face to the video footage has been obtained. So there has been movement in the forensic investigation. It's just these two aspects that are outstanding.
Mafe's lawyer says he can't comment on the positive identification of his client until he receives the report. But after failed bail attempts in 2 courts, the battle to free Mafe is not over.
What we are looking and concentrating to at the present moment is his bail application in the High Court. We have already secured a full bench from Judge President, and we will be finished with the date. Hopefully it's a date which might be next week, depending on whether it will be suitable to the other side.
Is that the appeal against?
It's an appeal against the bail application.
Unless a successful bail appeal is brought in the interim, Zandile Mafe will remain in custody until the 12th of May. By then, the state should have drafted its indictment to transfer this matter to the High Court. Lindsay Dentlinger, Cape Town.